city of Osage Beach. If you watch the show every week, last week we told you, man, a huge meeting coming up last Tuesday. It normally is Thursday, but Juneteenth, a national holiday, they say. So it was moved to Tuesday, and it was a massive board meeting. Three things that I wanted to talk about was the Arrowhead Center project. A lot of you guys know about the senior living retirement community, the nursing home right there, the really nice one, right? The Arrowhead community off KK. Well, they were approaching their 10-year deadline to be at phase 2 of their TIF, redevelopment plan and agreement with the city to qualify for a TIF. I didn't know this was a TIF project. Well, they had brought that to the board, and there was some pushback from the board saying you're too close to your deadline. We haven't seen anything built. They passed the first reading, and they have an August TIF Commission meeting about bundling like 7 different RPAs into one, which was confusing, but I did want the locals to be aware that the Arrowhead Center, that senior living facility off KK, is phase 1 of a multi-phase project. They're planning right now, the redevelopment plan lists nightly rentals and storage units and nightly cottages, and so there was some pushback from Alderman Osteen and Collins saying, hey, those aren't necessarily things we would want to give tax breaks and incentives to. And so they did pass the first reading. The second reading will be in a couple of weeks, and they are going to have a August TIF Commission meeting. We heard from the developer on the project and the mayor and the special counsel to the city. We're all in favor of moving forward because this is very important to them. But I didn't know that was a TIF project. Thought that was worth bringing up. And another popular one, you've heard of like Oasis Amusement, right? Everyone talks about Oasis Amusement Park.
Yeah, talk to us about that, because I know a lot of people are curious what the heck is happening out there.
Right.
So what's happening?
Well, we do know that the big obstacle for developer Jeff Tegethoff with that project was getting clean title from the Lakeport Village or Lakeport Resort condos, right? There was over 2,600 deeds, and he was in the position he had to track down and get everybody, and he was struggling to get the final 60, and he spent over $1 million. He bounty hunters, bail bondsmen, all kinds of different things he had to use to try to find these people. He did get the judge to issue him something that allowed him to move forward. And so I talked with developer Tegethoff over the weekend, and he says that the Ameren has been on site. They're planning to take those utility poles out of there so they can start blasting for the parking garage, which is the next phase of that project. I'm like, everyone's very antsy. And at this meeting, the Board of Aldermen even brought up, it was Justin Hoffman said, yeah, I'd love to hear from the developer himself. Like, when are we going to see anything? We've had lots of teases. And so developer Tegethoff addressed the dais and the Board of Aldermen, and he, shared that yeah, they're going to have Ameren on hand to remove those utility poles. We should start seeing some blasting. And the aldermen were like, well, you told us there's going to be crates of tracks and rides out there by now. And he goes, yes, that is coming. So that was the latest update. And then, of course, the big one, if you watched last week's show.
I think the utility poles is a big one, too.
That would be awesome. It'd be a sight to see, right? Just them out there removing those.
Well, nothing happens while those are still up.
Right.
So
I would hope not anyway.
Correct, right.
And the other one, the Anglers Outpost, right? We had told you the last couple weeks on our show about the Anglers Outpost was actually seeking a Chapter 100, $13 million abatement with the city of Osage Beach, or Chapter 100 bonds. And the first meeting on June 5th, it was tabled. The Board of Aldermen seemed perplexed. They absolutely didn't feel comfortable with that. And so at the June 17th meeting, they met with Dan Buck, who was there. They met with special counsel to the city, Cole Bradbury, the city attorney, and Mayor Harmison will all very, very well versed and seem very familiar with this project. So the first reading did pass June 17th. There was some pushback, and there is a lot more questions. However, all of these things that are happening with the city of Osage Beach, we didn't even bring up the outlet mall. There's a lot of development taking place, and my takeaway in watching the last couple of Board of Aldermen meeting in their entirety is there's a really good dynamic at play with the city of Osage Beach. You mentioned checks and balances.
That's right. I think they're working.
whether you like or dislike the mayor of Osage Beach, Mayor Harmison, he has been aggressive in building relationships and attracting development in the area. And this isn't a situation where Mayor Harmison is just going to be able to put this in front of a board and a city attorney and special counsel and they're going to accept it. I've seen it firsthand watching these meetings. It's great dialogue back and forth between Cole Bradbury, Mike, I think Seidenstricker, I apologize, I probably butchered his name. He's with a bank and he's special counsel to the city of Osage Beach on development and financial projects. And so this is like way more complex than you would realize, but I see aldermen asking questions. I see agendas getting tabled. I see meetings taking place with aldermen who don't know going and sitting with the developer and asking their questions. And so that's good if you ask me in regards to the city of Osage Beach, because man, there is some massive things taking place. And when I say the Arrowhead Center or Centre TIF, that can be alarming to people. Or the Lakeport Village with the Oasis Amusement Park and some of those delays, that can be alarming to people. And of course, the Anglers Outpost Lodge, Chapter 100, $13 million in bonds, that could certainly be alarming to people. But what I do see with the city of Osage Beach is diligence and a difference of opinions where they're not afraid to ask questions and potentially, like we saw at the June 5th meeting, table something important. Let's table it for a couple of weeks and have more discussion.
As long as the dialogue stays productive, right? I love seeing the growth, number one. And so, yes, as long as it stays productive and collaborative, I think they can land somewhere that's probably the best thing for Osage Beach. And so let the process, let the system work.
Yeah, without potentially setting a dangerous precedent for the area or putting the city on the hook for something that could fail potentially. So a lot of that risk management and planning seems to be in place. Those questions are being asked. So I do want to remind people that if you're interested in finding out, don't just take my word for it. You can go watch the Board of Aldermen meeting that takes place every other Thursday. They stream it live to Facebook, live to their YouTube channel, and you can go back and watch those if you can't make the meetings, which I find very helpful because I like to keep in the know with
and
the
thank
city
you
of
for
Osage.
watching those on behalf of all of us, Will,
Yeah, man.
and keeping us updated. A lot of us don't got the time to do it.
Last week's meeting was like 11 to 1 a.m. for
Probably
me.
not something I'm going to sit through, right?
Yeah.
But it's nice to be able to think, you know what? Will's going to watch it. He'll tell us about it.
Inspired by Dave Moppin and what he's doing with the Camden County Commission,
Right. Okay.
In the Dogwoods. His blog is amazing, and he sits there in every single meeting, bullets it, kind of tells you what happened. And so a lot of us, we can't go through that. Anyway, appreciate you saying that.